Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Today, Blitz mission. We will follow the Catachans as they defend the line against the hordes of the new Drukhari. They will charge forth and try and capture many slaves. Let me know what you think down below. Let's begin. I'm really excited to show some things off. We got some really cool jungly terrain here ready to rock and roll. Let's begin. We start our story on the Badlands, the jungle wastelands, where the Catachans have been fighting the Drukhari over many battles. Check the links down below for the story that we have created as the Drukhari and the Catachans have clashed repeatedly over and over again. Armed with a new codex, the Drukhari launched themselves at the Catachan defensive line. The Catachans, of course, have prepared a killing field, drawing the Drukhari in to their terms, to their turf. So we shall see how they do. Let's take a look at the two forces, 1,800 points of Drukhari and 1,800 points of Catachan Astra Militarum before they face off in this blitz. And here we have 1,800 points of new Drukhari. So we start the army with a battalion of the Cabal of the Black Heart. I am using Vexed's cronies this mission. So we have 3 units of 5 Cabalite warriors with blasters, 2 Venoms with dual splinter cannons, and a Raider with a disintegrator cannon. Then we have the Drakon with his Agonizer and splinter pistol, and Archon Skari himself, the Blade, with his Husk Blade and his splinter pistol as well. Bringing to the fight the Cult of the Red Grief so they can advance and charge. We have a Succubus with an Archai Glaive, 9 Witches with a Shardnet, an Impaler, and an Agonizer, a Raider with a Dark Lance, 9 Reaver jet bikes armed with 3 Heat Lances, and 2 units of 5 Hellions to round out the Outrider detachment. Then we go on to the Homunculus Coven. The Prophets of Flesh have come to help in this Blitz mission. We have a Homunculus leading the pack, 10 Racks with a Venom Blade on the Akathist, 3 Grotesques, a Raider modified to carry the Grotesques with extra deck space, and a Disintegrator Cannon, 2 Talos Pain Engines, and a Kronos, armed with a Stinger Pod, twin Splinter Rifles, and of course all the goodness in there. So this is 1,800 points. The 4+ invulnerable save on the Prophets of Flesh will really help. The advance and charge on the Reaver jet bikes and the Witches will get them into combat quickly, and Agents of Vect on the field, allowing them to be not only more survivable, but also have that really cool stratagem at hand and the Warlord trait. This is 1,850 points. Let me know what you think down below. There's a lot more on the table than I'm used to because everything went down in points. It's really cool. And now we're gonna go look at Greg's Catachans. And here we have 1,800 points of Catachans, ready to face off against the Drukhari in this Blitz mission. He's brought some heavy support in the form of Bastions. He brought some Sentinels. So Greg, what did you bring today?
All right, well, as I know, the Drukhari are very fast movers and I need a lot of rapid fire weapons. So obviously I got a battalion of infantry here. I got 4 squads of infantry. I got some flamers, some grenade launchers. Backing them up, I got some Scions, got 2 squads there. And then to add fire support, I got 3 units, or 3 heavy weapon squads, 2 with autocannons, 1 with missile launchers. Over here I got some Sentinels. I got 2 armored Sentinel squads, with 1 with autocannon, 1 with las cannon, and a scout Sentinel squad with some autocannons. I'm really hoping that all the shots I got, all these autocannons, we're going to take down some of them skimmers, because those things are going to be tearing me apart. In addition, I got the 2 bastions and the bunker. A lot of my infantry, I know that I'm pretty soft, and the Drukhari love their slaves, so I'm going to try to lock myself in and shut the door, and hopefully they can't get in there.
Pray they do not take you alive. Okay, so we've got 1,800 points. The Catechins are defending the line. We will return with deployment. So we've set up for the Blitz mission. Now, the Catechins are able to put the terrain down. So he put the terrain down. And then we've got 3 sections. We've got the front section here. Then we've got the first line of defense. We've got the second line of defense. Now, it is a narrative mission, so he gets to put hidden objective markers. Each one of these markers represents a unit in the Catechin army. So I don't know what everything is. So he's got a couple of bastions full of units. He's got the sentinels, he's got infantry squads, he's got Ogrin, he's got a variety of different things, and he's put them all out here. So I have no idea how he has deployed his forces. Now, starting from this line here, I have 18 inches up, so I deploy in this little section here, and I will get the first turn, which means I will get to move up. Now, he used a stratagem that has allowed him to place 2 additional markers that are decoys, which means that these 2 could be decoys, those 2 could be decoys. So I have no idea what is real and what is not. So we shall see. So what I get to do now is deploy my army ready for battle, and then Greg will reveal his hidden objective counters, his hidden deployment counters, and I will do a preliminary bombardment that will rain down upon him and do some damage, hopefully, and then I will take the first turn. Now, the aim of the mission is simple. Greg has to kill as much of the Drukhari as possible. He gets a kill point for every unit that he's killed. I can regenerate units on a 4+. If they have slain, they can come back and he can try kill them again to get more points. And I get 1 point at the end of the game for every unit that's within the first line of defense, and I get 2 points for every unit that's within the second line of defense as I swarm through the defensive lines. Very Dark Eldari. This is a classic sort of matchup as we have the Catechins, the Astra Militarum, holding the line against a swarm of vultures, a swarm of locusts, that what the Dark Eldar, the Drukhari, are. Okay, let's deploy the Drukhari, and we shall begin. The Drukhari force prepared for battle as the line advances, ready to blitz the Dark Eldar, ready to blitz the Catechins. There is a diabolical alliance here. An alliance of agony. So I had 8 command points. I have a battalion and 2 other detachments. I spent a command point and I made the homunculus and the succubus warlords as well, as there's 3 different factions vying for control of the battlefield. So I've made my succubus a stim junkie, so she has 2 drugs, and I've made my homunculus a diabolical soothsayer, and I got D3 extra command points, he rolled a 2. So now I have 9 command points. My warlord is Archon Skari, and the blade, and he is a labyrinthine cunning. So we roll a dice for each command point spent. On a 6, I gain a command point, which will be really cool. And my relic is going to be Exploding Witch. She essentially gets to, if she dies in combat, the unit that killed her suffers D6 mortal wounds as she explodes. Because normally my succubus dies anyway. Okay, so let's get this on the road. The Catechins are going to reveal their hidden deployment. This is me recanting an error. Hold on. So the witch doesn't explode because she has a stim junkie, which is the warlord trait, and the explode is also a warlord trait for a different cult. The red grief can advance and charge, which is cool. But my relic is the Soul Seeker pistol. So Archon Skari, the blade, he has a pistol that's 18-inch range, shoots twice, wounds on 2s against things that are not vehicles, and it doesn't need line of sight, and it can target characters out of line of sight. And right now, Greg is revealing his hidden deployment as the Catachans prepare for the onslaught.
This time I'm starting all my heavy weapons in there. This time.
I know. The Catachans have deployed. So, hidden deployment reveals quite an extensive defense network. We have the Ogrins back here ready to hold the line. Imperial bunker with 10 scions in it. Behind it, a scion commander ready to guide them through combat. This bastion is reinforced, it's dug in, has a 2+ save. That's another command point spent on that, and it's got all 9 heavy weapon squads, veterans with sniper rifles, and Harker in there as well.
2 command points.
2 command points to get that guy 2+ save. Armored sentinels with las cannons, and then moving on this flank we have an infantry platoon, 20 Catachans with grenade launchers, with the company commander and the Primaris Psyker in the forest, gaining their cover saves. Another armored sentinel squadron with autocannons, and a scout sentinel squadron with autocannons as well. They also get a pre-game move if they want to use it. And in this bastion here, we thought it was derelict, but there are models inside of it. We have 20 Catachans with 2 flamers in there.
Yes.
Just cannon fodder in a bastion. Okay, so with both armies deployed, are you going to pre-game move them, or are you going to keep them where they are?
No, just so you know, this also has a quad launcher.
Oh, it has a quad. It has a quad launcher.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's also got a gun on it. Okay, and then over here we have. So it's just the heavy bolters shoot a lot better then. And I start my preliminary bombardment. So I get to roll a dice for each unit on the board, and on a 6 they take d6 mortal wounds. Okay, so we'll start with this bastion over here, a 3. These sentinels over here, a 1. First unit of infantry at the front, a 4. The Primaris Psyker, and the company commander. Ooh! So he can elect to go to ground. It turns it into a D3.
Yeah,
and then he can't do anything on his first
he's going to
turn.
go to ground.
Okay, so D3 mortals. He takes 3. Kablam! He was standing in the open when there's a bombardment. What can you do? The second unit of infantry. Nope. That was a 5. That unit of sentinels. Nope. This unit of sentinels back here. Nope. The bastion itself. Yes. Aha! Takes d6 for 2. So it has 18 left. The Ogrin. Nope. The Scion Commander. Nope. And the bunker. No.
I'm going to counter with my own preliminary.
Oh no! 2 preliminary bombardments going off at once. So now he gets to roll, and on a 6 I just take a mortal wound, but that's 2 command points.
Yep.
So I will be rolling for my labyrinthine cunning afterwards. But let's see
And
what
I have
happens.
master strategist for all my command points.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
So that's a 1. Is it skull a 1?
It skulls a 1.
Okay, skull is a 1. The Raider, no. The
Talos.
Talos, no. The Rax, no.
The
Reaver jet bikes,
Nope.
no.
the other.
The Chronos,
Nope.
no. Close.
Talos.
The other Talos,
Nope.
no.
The Raider.
The Raider,
There
yes,
we go.
takes a mortal wound. I also have a homunculus back there.
Homunculus then.
Yeah,
Nope.
nope.
The Hellions.
The Hellions.
Yep.
Ooh, on a 6, I ignore it.
Of course.
Actually, it's not even. Is it before the game starts?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's not even the first battle round, so they
Okay.
don't get powerful opinion. Bloop.
All right. Venom.
The Venom.
Yes.
Oh, takes 2 mortal wounds. Ouch.
Another Venom.
The other Venom, nope. And
the last Raider.
Archon Scari's
He
Raider.
takes 1.
Oh no!
He's hit.
Oh, that's not bad. You got 4 mortal wounds out of that. That's pretty good.
Got almost as many as you.
Yeah, I know. They countered with a preliminary bombardment, and with that, we begin the game. Let's get started. Okay, so before the game started, he was able to roll 2 stratagem points after reinforcing that bunker, and 2 for the bombardment, and he got 3 out of the 4 back with his with his commander.
Grand strategist.
And the Dark Eldar one is, as long as your warlord is alive, which is really cool, not on the board, alive, I get to roll the dice for each command point that's spent on anything. So I got to roll 1 for the Alliance of Agony. I got to roll 2 for Reinforcement Bunker. I got to roll 1 for his decoys, and I got to roll 2 for his orbital bombardment. So I rolled 6 dice, and I rolled 1 6, so I did add another command point, which means I have 10 command points to his 11 now?
10 left.
10, you have 10 left. I have just as many command points as he does. And with that, we begin the game as the Drukhari are advancing across no man's land to try and blitz the enemy line. Let's begin. Drukhari turn 1. The Drukhari army has advanced in full force, the raiding party ready to get to the squishy insides of the bunkers. Being able to advance 26 inches with the Reaver jet bikes, a combination of disintegrator firepower and the heat lances, succeed in putting 4 wounds on that bunker. The charge was not as much as they'd like to get, but they put 3 wounds on the Scion commander and and nothing else. And then the Hellions charged in, put 2 wounds on the Ogren, but the Ogrens did interrupt the combat and killed 2 of the Hellions before they got to swing. 1 survived, and I did have to use a command point reroll, but he has held, which forces the Ogren to stay in combat for another turn. I used a command 6-inch move when they advanced with a stratagem, and everything else essentially just advanced as quickly as possible. Labyrinthine Cunning from the Archon has actually been quite good. I've regained about 3 command points now, just from back and forth. So I'm up to 9, and I've used quite a few already, which is pretty cool.
I'm down to 8.
And the Imperial Guard are down to 8, the Astra Militarum. Okay, so now we're moving into Astra Militarum. Turn 1, let the guns ablaze. The Imperial Guard, reeling under the advance of the Drukhari, open fire as the speed of the Drukhari has set them back. The Reaver jet bikes have succeeded in this bunker now has 4 wounds left.
Yes.
Right? They haven't been able to kill it. The Ogren fought the last Hellion, getting a point for killing the Hellion, while the Scion commander ran away. With other shooting, there was some orders going off. The Sentinels failed pretty much epically. They didn't really do any damage other than helping kill the Grotesque Raider to make the Grotesques get out and walk on foot. But none of them died in the explosion. Meanwhile, the Witch Raider is down 5 wounds, and nothing happened to the Cablite force advancing up the flank. So I have lost 2 Hellion units, so I'm going to roll for 2 Hellion units to come back. I'm going to roll for the one which has +2 movement. It arrives on a 4+, and I'm going to roll for the one that has +2 leadership. They both arrive, but then they come in at the end of my movement phase, 6 inches away, and I also get to roll for that Raider on a 4+. It also arrives. So I got the Raider comes back. It's just like a wave of stuff coming in, but every time he kills something, it's an extra point. So I have to, they're 5-man Hellion units. So we'll see. They're like point farms for him. I just brought them for the Outrider detachment. But I feel just 3 Reaver jet bikes would have been better because it's cheaper and they're tougher.
Yes.
So yeah. So next time I'll be doing an Outrider with jet bikes and a Succubus. Okay. So let's see what the Dark Eldar can do. My general idea, probably gonna use the Blade Vein attack from the Reaver jet bikes and slash over the commander or the Ogren, get the witches stuck in, try and crack open that bunker in order to get to the squishy stuff inside. And I have to deal with these 2 bastions because last time we tried this game, the bastions were the harder thing to crack if the game got further and further. So let's put some pressure on the Astra Militarum. Drukhari raiding force, turn 2. Drukhari turn 2 saw the Dark Eldar raiding force advance, and as you can see, we have taken out the initial bait that the Astra Militarum has set for us, which were the Scions in the bunker. Now we're in a killing zone between the 2 bastions. But the Coven force, the Prophets of Flesh, moving up the middle of the board with their tough models, just putting pressure, ready to swing either side. We had the Archon Skari, the Blade, with his Cabal of the Deadly Mist, followers of Cult of Vect. They're subservient to Vect's Cabal. So they've moved up. In a classic cool thing, Archon Skari shot his Soul Seeker pistol 18 inches away, out of line of sight, at Greg's commander, and he died.
He died. Soul was ripped.
The soul was ripped from his body as the Soul Seeker ammunition knocked out the last wound that he had. And meanwhile, the Venoms moved up, and we killed 9 out of a 10-man unit of Catechins, but there's still 2 units in here with Flamers, so we'll see what happens after that. 2 Scions remain on this flank, and the 1 Ogrin, the Bonehead, remains with 2 wounds left. The Reaver jet bikes have lost 3 more models. I have 2 Heat Lancers left, but thanks to the Witches, he will not be able to shoot me unless he falls back and rolls, wins a roll-off. But I have Shard Nets. The nets make it harder for him to be able to get away. And on the far flank, the Hellions and the Raider have recycled. They've come in. I'm trying not to get them killed again so they don't just give up easy points. Okay, moving on to Catechin. Turn 2. Things are starting to get dicey, but if they have a good turn of shooting, it could turn the tide. Okay, end of turn 2, and the Astra Militarum have gained another 3 points as they knocked out Archon Skari, the Blades Raider. They knocked out a Venom and an entire unit of Cabalite Warriors on the flank, using tons of las gunfire, the autocannons, heavy bolters, las cannons. It took a lot to take that Raider down, thanks to the obsession of the Cabal of the Black Heart, as well as the 5+ invulnerable save that the Raider had saved a lot of damage. I have 1 unit of Cavalry Warriors back here. They're facing off against a bulk of the Catechin army. And I also have 1 Blaster left alive with Archon Skari and his Soul Seeker pistol, and the Drakon, who's Archon Skari's body double. In combat, I did kill the Scions, but not before they took a wound off one of the jet bikes. And I get to roll again for some of the units that were destroyed to see if they arrive. The Cabalite Warriors arrive on a 4+, but I add +2 because they are troop battlefield roll. They arrive on a 5. The Venom arrives, and the Raider arrives. So we have everything that died is coming back, kind of like the Hellions, and sweeping up the rear. So let's see if the Catechins can hold as the Drukhari swarm into their lines. Okay, so after Dark Eldar, Drukhari turn 3. The Raider moved up here, the Witches got in, they shot into the Bonehead and he died. They're getting ready to kind of go anywhere where they need to go. The Rax and 1 Talos is starting to advance on this lone bastion full of heavy weapons and the Sentinels on the flank. While on the meantime, this flank, we had the Blade, Archon Skari, get out and knock 3 wounds off the Psyker with his Soul Seeker pistol. I love that pistol. And the Drakon ran in, set off some booby traps as he ran into combat, took 3 mortal wounds. And then the Cabalite Warriors have advanced. Then I killed 1 Sentinel from this unit with the jet bikes. They moved up, killed 1 Sentinel. They charged into the second one. And then I had the Venom charge into these 2 Sentinels. It had lost 4 wounds, and so it charged in to try and hold the Sentinels up. But when I killed the unit of Guardsmen, they ordered a fire on my target. So an orbital bombardment landed and hit the Reaver jet bikes, doing 3 mortal wounds, killing them, because it was only 3 wounds, and doing 2 wounds to the Venom, killing it, because I didn't save there, and put 1 wound on that Sentinel. But now he's saved his Sentinels, and they can shoot now this turn, which is awesome. That's the kind of scenario where Agents of Vect would have been really useful. It's 3 command points, but I didn't want to detract from the cinematics of that moment. And then we have the Grotesques and the Talos charge into that bastion. It has 7 wounds left. Okay, and we still have the guys that had come back on the board here, and the wave of Hellions that had died turn 1 are now continue to move up. But The Astra Militarum have gained 2 more points. Out to 8 points. And this is only going into turn 3. So let's see what happens as this gets down to the nasty. Turn 3 for the Astra Militarum. So quite a few points go through for the Astra Militarum. So now the Astra Militarum is at 11 points, which means I need to have 5 units in the second half and 1 in the first half. And going into turn 4, we have the Witches lost their Raider as the last cannons and autocannons took it down. They also lost a few members to shooting. In combat, I did knock down the Bastion in combat, but not after losing all the Cavalite warriors that were back here. And that was it for now. Oh, and 2 cats. So you lost 2 units of Cavalite warriors. I lost a Raider as well. So now we're moving on to turn 4 as the guys from inside the Bastion pile out, the Catachans in disarray as the flesh beasts of the Coven, and Skari, the Blade, the Archon, advancing. See, look, that guy with the flame is already running away. Oh no! Okay, on to turn 4. Drukhari, turn 4. And the Dark Eldar continue their relentless advance. Wave after wave after wave of Drukhari falling on the Imperial defense line. And they are holding to the last man. This is a classic Dark Eldar real space raid. The Reaver jet bikes did come back, and I used forced march to deploy them, not within 6, but within the deployment zone, so then they can come out to turn 5s and 6. Over here, I charged into the Sentinels. They still need to swing, though. We forgot to attack with them. I've done 8 wounds in total to this Bastion. Has 12 wounds left. That 2+ save, really helping out. The Grotesques and Archon Skari, the Blade and his Dracon, took out all 10 of these guardsmen, while the Talos and Kronos firing and combat killed all but 1 in that unit, and I did almost kill that other armored sentinel, but I was unable to engage these 2 sentinels. So as it looks pretty bleak, 11 points to the Astra Militarum, and as it stands I have 18 points. It is a 7-point game right now, but every unit he kills will be a 3-point swing in his favor. So if he can play it right, he will be able to get something, as all his heavy weapons and firepower are in this Bastion. Moving on to turn 4 for the Astra Militarum. End of Astra Militarum turn 4, and with not a good turn. Things are looking rather grim. He was able to kill 1 Talos banging up against the Bastion, but he was unable to kill the last 3 Witches, and they are fearless thanks to power from pain. In the meantime, I did kill the last unit, the last guardsman in that unit. So we're moving on to turn 5 of the Drukhari, and it seems like if I can crack open the Bastion, that will be pretty much it, as the swarm, the horde, starts to advance forward once again. Okay, let's see what happens as we move into the final part of this game. But playing with the new Dark Eldar there's been a lot of cool stuff. You know, being able to have -1 to hit with a stratagem, being able to steal command points. I have a lot more on the table than I normally do have, as everything went down in points. The Reaver jet bikes especially, but it's just really cool to have a lot more flavor, I feel. So we'll talk about it after in the Tactical Corner, but let's move into the final chapter of the game. Drukhari, end of turn 5. The Reaver jet bikes once again move and advance. They're crazy fast. I really like the new jet bikes. Let me know if you're going to be using at least 1 unit in your army.
Should always use 1 unit.
They're great. They're really nice. I wasn't able to do much damage onto the Bastion. It's got 5 wounds left. I did charge a whole bunch of stuff into it. I killed the 1 sentinel that was here with some disintegrator fire, and I did kill 1 sentinel here. The other one is still alive. And we have 2 sentinels back here, and they're still alive. And we still have all the heavy weapon guns in here. So we're moving on to turn 5 for the Astra Militarum, as there's a wave of Dark Eldar that he killed earlier in the game are now coming at me.
You're at 25 points.
I have 25 points. Me personally?
You.
Me. And you have 12. Okay, so I've doubled up his points. So we'll see what he can do at the end here. Final hurrah for the Astra Militarum. We were saying that he should have a big Gatling cannon Baneblade, right?
Yeah.
Right, with like heavy flamers on everything, Catachin style. Which would be really fun. We'll definitely continue the story. But what will the survivors? I kind of want to see what happens. Will they survive in their bastion? Will they get cracked open? So far they've held to the last man. Let's see what happens after this. Okay, so end of turn 5. Greg, why don't you tell me what happened?
Well, I made a lot of shots.
Yep.
Good shots. I think I did focus fire pretty well.
Yep.
Managed to kill the Hellions there,
Yep.
which is nice. And then I had a unit, two heavy weapon squads of autocannons shooting at this unit here.
Yep.
Managed to kill 1 Hellion.
And then 1 witch.
And 1 witch.
I know. And then the 2 last cannons.
Last cannons whiffed as
failed to do any damage on that raider because they didn't hit.
And of course, unfortunately, my last scout sentinel
Did fall as a grotesque, just ripped it to pieces. Yep. Okay, so it might be the end of the game. It might go on. On a 3+, it does go on. But we have just the heavy weapons in Harker holding up against all odds, coming in, trying to get comms to get help from the Ordo Xenos.
Yes.
And the Blood Angel chapter that was nearby in the system.
The call is already in.
The call has been made. Let's see if the game continues. Nope. And the game is over with a 2. Okay, Greg, thanks a lot for the game. That was really fun.
Thank you.
That was as a narrative game, of course. You know, narrative games are not always designed to be balanced and or fair. Just to showcase you some of the cool stuff of the new Dark Eldar book. But Greg, what did you think after playing the new Drukhari?
They can bring in so many units now, and they are fast as things.
As everything. Let's keep it PG, right?
Yes, that's right. They are fast. Like
super
you were clearing
fast.
that whole board in about a turn.
I know, it was nuts. Those Reaver jet bikes were probably my MVPs. They got in quick. Yeah. They disrupted the enemy.
The heat lances tore apart my bastions.
The heat lances were great with the -5 AP and the D6 damage. Yeah. They're cheaper than blasters, but I feel blasters would be better in general. You get better strength, which is great. But against bastions, they were still wounding on 5s anyway. Yeah. So it didn't really matter against the bastions. Okay, all in all, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. This is Skari, your grateful host, signing off. Make sure you check the links down below. If you'd like to become a Patreon, please do help support the channel and all the cool stuff that we do. But stay tuned. We're going to do tacticas, battle reports, reviews, narrative campaigns, everything that you would like with your Drukhari. Ah, the Darkkin. So, we're having a battle report. Rob! Say hi, Rob, to the Patreons. Hello, everybody. And we're filming our next battle report. It's going to be a narrative, fun one. 60 power level. It's an exclusive. We're playing the game.